Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another pre-market watch list on the Weather Room. Now, yesterday was a little bit of a choppy day trading. As many of you may know, the S&P, the SPY, it was very back and forth between the bulls and the bears, which made TVIX, very, very hard to trade. And not to mention TVIX in itself didn't see a lot of volume yesterday, which made it even harder to trade. So again, just because the SPY does one thing does not mean TVIX is going to follow 100%, because there still needs to be a lot of volume being traded on TVIX in order for it to correctly see the moves that we want it to, inversely to the SPY. So again, I still will be watching TVIX because the SPY has started dumping. So it's starting to pick up in volume. So there's really only two tickers I'm going to watch today, maybe three. We'll cover the other one here shortly. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen, and we'll get into it. It's going to be very quick here today. All right, so let me get this out of the way, and we'll pop this guy up. So I'll just start here with ZN. So for some of you that can trade ZN, right? ZN is a penny stock. It popped up yesterday, got halted, then it continued running all the way to 485. There was some news on it having to do with oil, that maybe they were going to start a new drilling somewhere in Israel, I believe was the news. So again, ZN from 225 all the way to 485 in after hours trading. This is what I want you guys to take away from this. Is if you look at a 1 year, 1 day chart, or you look at the yearly chart, ZN is notorious. It's popped up before, it spikes, and then it usually comes right back down. So every day, or every time it has a really big parabolic day where it runs up, it usually comes crashing down the next day. So if history does continue to repeat itself, we'll probably see ZN have a really big red day today. This is what we call the first red day strategy, okay? ZN is on a first red day strategy where we see it go parabolic, and then the next day it gaps down pre-market, and this is the start of a red day. Chances are you're going to see ZN continue down. This is a very, very highly successful strategy, trading a parabolic move up and then shorting the first red day. This is the first red day. So for those of you that can trade or can short ZN, I would highly recommend keeping this on your watch list for a short, as it's probably going to be a red day. Now, a lot of times we'll see these first red days actually spike up in the morning and then they come down. So that's what I would expect to maybe see a little bit of a pop-up on ZN before it goes red. So as you can see here, it has a little bit of a pre-market support right at around 380, 390. Wouldn't be surprised to see this spike up a little bit in the morning because there's probably still a lot of people that think ZN's going to boom today because of the day it had yesterday. But little do they know this is the first red day, right? So if they don't know the first red day strategy, they might still think it's going to completely boom, when in reality it has a higher probability of coming down. Top of the morning to everyone. Good morning, David, Ripple, Frank, Ryan, Matt. Good morning to you. Yeah, that's crazy, Matt. So again, ZN, keep it on watch for a potential short on the first red day strategy. So my number one play today is going to be FOSL. FOSL had really, really big earnings yesterday. Or sorry, not earnings. There was some news on it that caused the stock to really boom. And it went from 9 all the way to 18. So that's a big move, right? That's 9 points, almost $10 a share that this thing moved from after hours and into pre-market. So from after hours here, we're kind of resting from 18 all the way down to 15, $16. So we've lost 2 points from after hours to pre-market trading. This is going to be a very heavily traded stock with a lot of volume today. It's hard to say exactly which direction it's going to go in now, because right now it's right in a consolidation zone. It's right in between the high of pre-market and the low of pre-market. I wouldn't be surprised to see FOSL spike up in the morning and actually continue going up to retest a high of $18. But right now, in between $14.50 and $16.50, this is kind of this consolidation indecisive area. But below and above 1650 and below 1450. That's where we could really see some big moves. So again, FOSL is definitely on watch. All these levels are just potential support and resistance zones that I have mapped off. This one down here is from a later time frame on a yearly chart. So if we go in here to the 1-year chart, you'll see all the way back that it had peaked right at here at about 1255. So I've mapped off 1255. And then before that, at 1850, it's seen a little bit of a spike before it dumped out. So I have that level mapped off. So all these green little dotted lines you see here are just potential areas of resistance. So if you want to map these off as well, feel free and go ahead. But FOSL is going to be a big stock that's going to be in play today. I hope that it's not so heavily traded that it becomes choppy. So be careful trading right out of the gates because it is so heavily traded. There might be a big battle between bulls and bears, which are going to cause it to chop around a little bit. You might see some short squeezes, which in turn can really affect you with your stop losses. You just like Zaref said, you need to have an account, whatever broker you choose, you need to have an upgraded account that allows you to trade pre-market or after hours trading. Most all brokers charge an additional fee to trade after hours and pre-market trading. Okay, so FOSL, #1 stock on my watch list today. Now my backup stock will be TVIX once again. All right, you see this huge spike here in this morning with TVIX. Well, that's because the SPY did this. The overall market here, the SPY just dumped really hard. This is due to an inflation report that was just released. So if you want, you could check the news. You can go ahead and read that. But that's primarily why we've seen that big spike on TVIX. Just because we had this big dump out does not mean we're going to see the SPY completely dump out today. But this has just brought a lot of volume and a lot of attention to the SPY and TVIX and UVXY, right? So TVIX spike, UVXY spike. There's some other ones that are similar to this, but these are primarily the ones that I watch, UVXY and TVIX, inverse ETNs of the SPY. And like Matt said, right, there is pre-market can be very challenging to trade. It's very manipulated. There's not a lot of volume in pre-market for the most part. And it's always best to trade when the market opens. So again, we'll be watching TVIX and UVXY for trades today. So, you know, again, if the SPY goes up, these will come down. If the SPY goes down, UVXY and TVIX will go up. So if you're going to trade these, you have to correctly trade them. That means you have to watch the SPY to determine your entry points on these stocks. Again, if these don't have volume, if TVIX and UVXY don't have volume, they're not going to trade very well. ZSAN, I looked at this morning. It doesn't have a lot of volume. I won't trade that. There's not enough volume on the stock to really grow any interest for me. The spreads will probably be fairly big if there's not a lot of volume. Yeah, there's a 9-cent spread right now. That'll probably tighten up. But again, this is not something I want to trade. Not enough volume there to really do what we want. TEUM, no volume here. Won't trade that. If there's good news, right? If there's news out on it, good. But if there's no volume, then that means there's not enough people paying attention to the news. So if you ever see that you're looking at a penny stock, you're like, oh, well, it has good news this morning. Yeah, it has good news, but are other traders watching that stock, right? And that's all you have to ask yourself. If there's news and there's a lot of volume and it's being heavily traded, put it on your watch list because other people are trading it. But if you see that it has good news but not a lot of volume, don't mess with it because chances are it's not going to do anything that you want it to do. Evan, I apologize. That's kind of unexpected. There's really not much you could do about it. And that's why I day trade and tend to not hold things overnight because a lot of stuff can happen overnight that you don't expect. One of which being the SPY dumping, which causes your SVXY trade to probably go against you, I'm assuming. Yeah, yikes. That's no bueno. Not fun. Not fun at all. So those are the stocks that I have on my watch list here this morning. Not going to, create a crazy watch list. With those tickers alone, should be able to have some good opportunity to make some money. GNC, good earnings, wasn't it? Then it crashed. Yeah, it's hard to say. I really don't expect it to come down too much more. So I would say it's probably going to have a little bit of a choppy day here. It might squeeze a little bit if there was any short sellers holding overnight, but I wouldn't expect really, really big moves out of GNC today. So that's all I have for you here this morning on the pre-market watch list. Again, if you want to stay in tune with everything that is we do here, especially on the Boiler Room, you can join the trading course. Links are in the description below. Sale ends on Sunday, so if you want to join in, you can use the coupon code 10 off or 49 off. 10 off is for monthly, 49 off is for yearly. And when I say 10 off, I mean the number 10 and then the word off, right? So some people had some trouble using it the other day, but it's the number 10 or the number 49 and then the word off in capitals, right? So links are in the description below. You can join into our free chat room below, Facebook group. Everything you need to stay in tune with what it is that we do here are all in the description box below, so you can go ahead and check that out. And then I will see you guys all here tomorrow morning once again. So everyone take care and have a good day.